Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a seriously valuable tool for your academic journey, the Practical Assistant. Now, if you've been granted this accommodation, you might have some questions bouncing around in your head. Like, how does it actually work? What does it mean for exam day? How do I even use it? Well, right off the bat, I want you to reframe how you think about this. This isn't a crutch. It's a highly specialized tool that puts you entirely in control of your own success. You are the driver here. The assistant is literally just there to help navigate the physical terrain. Okay, let's dive into this. So here is our roadmap for today. First, meet your practical assistant. Second, what they can actually do. Third, what they cannot do. Fourth, how it actually works. And finally, number 5, use it or lose it.
All right, Section 1, meet your practical assistant.
So why have you been given a practical assistant? Let's just address the elephant in the room right away, because sometimes students feel a bit self-conscious about having an adult sitting right there with them during a test. You know, it's perfectly normal to wonder why this arrangement was made. Your feelings are totally valid. We want to completely destigmatize this right from the jump. You've been given this support for very specific, practical reasons that have absolutely zero to do with your intelligence or your grasp of the subject matter.
So, what exactly is this role? A practical assistant is a trained adult who helps you with practical tasks that you literally cannot do yourself during an exam. Notice the heavy emphasis on the word practical. This role is entirely about removing physical barriers. Whether it's handling materials or setting up a workstation, their job is just to handle the physical mechanics of the environment. Why? So your true, brilliant knowledge can shine through on the paper without anything getting in the way.
There are a bunch of common reasons someone might have an assistant. Maybe you have a physical disability or a medical condition that makes prolonged writing or, physical manipulation painful or just really difficult. You might have a hard time using certain specialized equipment required for the test. Or maybe you need help with non-exam practical tasks, or you just simply need a hand accessing and managing resources. The goal is always, 100% of the time, to help you access the exam so you can do your best work without any physical hindrance.
Now, there's a massive difference between removing a barrier and giving an unfair advantage. An unfair advantage would be someone just giving you the answers or doing the heavy thinking for you. That is absolutely not what this is. Your practical assistant is there strictly to level the playing field. They're just making sure that a physical limitation doesn't disguise your actual academic ability. Like we said, you're doing the academic heavy lifting. They are just clearing the physical path for you.
Moving on to Section 2, what they can actually do.
Let's run through these allowed actions because it's super important to know what your options are. Your assistant can set up equipment or materials for you. They can cut, stick, staple, hole punch, the whole shebang. They can measure or draw straight lines if your hands just aren't cooperating that day. They can read non-exam information, assuming it's permitted, of course. They can operate specialist equipment, and they can help you access your approved resources. Look at the nature of these specific tasks. They are highly mechanical. Think of your assistant like a human Swiss Army knife. They're highly trained to handle these exact things seamlessly, so you just don't have to stress about them.
And notice the emphasis on their behavior here. The practical assistant will work quietly and professionally on practical tasks that are not about the exam content. If you're at all worried about them being a distraction, let this reassure you. The assistant is trained to be a silent, professional background tool. They're essentially just a pair of helpful hands, working only on non-content tasks. You're not going to be having casual chats with them. They'll just efficiently do exactly what you ask them to do.
Section 3, what they cannot do.
All right, let's be incredibly clear about these strict boundaries. Your assistant cannot tell you the answer. They cannot explain the question to you. There's no way they'll give you hints or clues. They cannot help with the exam content in any way, shape, or form. They absolutely cannot do your thinking for you, and they cannot tell you which resources to use unless that happens to be specifically allowed in the exam instructions. Basically, any intellectual help is completely off the table. If you ask them to explain a tricky math problem, they're going to politely decline. They are not your tutor, they're your practical assistant.
It really all boils down to this core mantra: helping with access versus helping with answers. A practical assistant provides access, not answers. Access means getting the ruler in the exact right place so you can read it. Answers mean telling you what that measurement actually is. You are the brain, they're simply a temporary physical extension to help you interact with the test materials.
Section 4, how it actually works.
So how does this actually play out on exam day? It's a pretty seamless 6-step process. First, read or listen carefully to the invigilator's instructions. Second, before the exam even starts, explain to the invigilator or assistant exactly what help you're going to need. Third, during the exam, the assistant helps with those agreed-upon practical tasks. Fourth, and this is absolutely crucial, you stay in control. You are the boss, you decide what to do. Fifth, always check the work the assistant has done to make sure it's exactly what you wanted. And sixth, remember that your answers are entirely yours. You do all the thinking. Follow these steps and you remain completely in the driver's seat.
To make sure everything goes off without a hitch, here are our top tips. Before the exam starts, you've got to be proactive. Tell the invigilator what you need, make sure you both understand the agreed tasks, and just double-check everything. Then, during the exam, don't be shy. Seriously, speak up if something isn't right. If they drew a line slightly off from where you wanted, tell them. Then, put your blinders on, focus strictly on your exam, and do your absolute best. Your job is to communicate your needs clearly and then let them execute those physical tasks while you focus on the academics.
To truly empower you, we've pulled together this ultimate before-the-exam checklist directly from the source materials. Take a quick moment and ask yourself, do I know what my assistant can help with? Do I know they cannot help with answers? Do I know I must check everything they do? Do I know I'm responsible for all my answers? If you're nodding along and checking off these boxes, then you can confidently check off the final one, I'm ready to use my assistant with confidence. This checklist is your proof that you're 100% in charge.
Finally, Section 5. Use it or lose it.
Your practical assistant is part of your normal way of working. Now, what does that actually mean in practice? It means this tool isn't just some special exception reserved for the massive high-stakes exam days. It's intended to be integrated into your everyday academic life. It is your normal way of working. You've got to normalize this process for yourself so that by the time you reach those big final exams, working with an assistant is just completely second nature to you.
You should be using this support at every single stage of your academic journey, whenever it's available and appropriate. Start by using your practical assistant in your everyday lessons. Then, utilize them during regular class assessments. Keep that momentum going during your mock exams. All of this practice leads seamlessly right into your final exams. By following this progression, you ensure that on the biggest test days, you aren't distracted by trying to figure out how to communicate with an assistant. You're already a total pro at it.
And here is the blunt use it, don't lose it warning. If you don't use your practical assistant regularly, the school may not have enough evidence that you still need this arrangement. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a very real compliance requirement. Accommodations are based on demonstrated, ongoing need. If you skip using your assistant all year because you feel a little shy about it, your school might legally have to withdraw the accommodation for your finals simply due to lack of evidence. Please, do not let that happen. Be proactive, claim your support, and use it regularly.
To wrap this all up, let's look at this mandate straight from the source. Access the exam, show what you know, succeed with confidence. A practical assistant is never an unfair advantage. It is simply the removal of a barrier so your true abilities can shine. Which leaves you with one final exciting question to ask yourself as you prepare for test day. Now that the physical barriers are entirely gone, just how far can your actual knowledge take you?